Hi, my name's Alice Wilcock and I'm Head of Education at the Centre for Social Justice. Today we're releasing our new report, Cracks in Our Foundations, which looks at the long-standing problem of foundational skills in England's primary schools. Our report draws upon the expertise of our alliance charities who have massively informed the recommendations in this report. We've also produced brand new polling from Teacher Tap, which looks at what teachers think to be the issues in our primary schools. We outline a radical plan for reform that will ensure that more children leave school with the English and maths skills that they need to thrive in life. We start our reports by examining the state of the nation. Last year, the first full year after COVID, 2 in 5 children left primary school without reaching expected standards in reading, writing, and maths. This is a massive problem, but there were already educational inequalities before the pandemic. The attainment gap now stands at its widest level in a decade, but even before school shutdowns, many children were leaving schools without the skills that they needed to thrive. Children from a disadvantaged background were 9 months behind their peers. Those living in persistent poverty were a whole year behind. Now we're concerned about what the prospects are for the future. 1 in 5 teachers are concerned that most of their children will not meet the expected standards this year. We desperately need a radical plan if we want children to catch up on lost learning, and we want to make sure every child leaves with the foundational skills they need to thrive. So our report outlines a vision for change. We recommend that the government harnesses the powers of parents. In fact, there's a strong evidence base suggesting that parental engagement is key if we want to improve educational outcomes. On average, when you have effective parental engagement, it can improve children's outcomes by up to 4 months. However, despite the evidence base for its success, at the moment, parental engagement is not sufficiently embedded in our education system. Our polling revealed that 1 in 3 primary school teachers think that there's a clear parental participation policy in their school. However, a similar proportion think that there isn't. We need to change this. We can't allow for children's educational outcomes to be so varied based upon the status of their school. That's why we're calling on the government to outline a national parental participation policy. This would encourage schools and multi-academy trusts to actively think about the role parents play. We'd also want to see integration of existing family services into the primary school offer. This would mean things like family hubs and family learning courses being co-located in school sites. We must do more to engage parents and to make sure that they can support their children's learning at home. We must also acknowledge the damage caused by COVID. We're not starting from the same place we were 3 years ago. Now many more children are absent from school. We've uncovered over 100,000 children who've become severely absent. We've also seen the damage caused to educational outcomes. Despite the investment in the tutoring programme, our polling reveals that 2 in 5 schools think that the tutoring provision they're offering now is the same or less than before the pandemic. We must also acknowledge the well-being needs of our children. Schools are being warned about a tsunami of mental health needs. We have to make sure our children can recover from the damage of COVID. We're therefore recommending that the government introduces a national attendance mentor programme. They must reform the national tutoring programme to make sure it reaches those that most desperately need it. And we're still calling on the government to introduce an enrichment guarantee. This has never been more needed. Of course, we must also invest in our school system. The quality of teachers is the single most important factor in a child's educational outcome in schools. However, at the moment, the sector is facing a recruitment and retention crisis. We're therefore calling on the government to improve training and to make sure that targeted support is available, both for children from disadvantaged backgrounds, but also for children with special educational needs. We must ensure that all children can access the support they need to thrive in school. Ensuring that every single child leaves primary school with a secure grasp of foundational skills must be seen as a moral imperative. This report provides a plan to ensure that every child leaves schools with the foundational skills that they need to thrive.